If you're moving your body during sex the way that 99% of men do, then you're actually training yourself to ejaculate faster. I'm about to show you exactly how to move during sex to dramatically improve your stamina. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the way that you move during sex is actually hurting your ejaculation control and how you can retrain yourself to move in a way that supports your nervous system, which means that you'll experience much more pleasure and you'll be able to control when you ejaculate. Sound good? Let's get into it. I'm Jonathan White, and after spending 12 years studying and training intensively, like hours a day, I've been able to help thousands of men just like you learn to master their sexual energy and create an epic life. A lot of my friends call me the boner guru. Hit subscribe so that you know when new videos like this are uploaded, and get my free ebook through the description of this video that will teach you how to train yourself to achieve complete ejaculation control. Okay, so first I need to show you a huge mistake that most men make during sex and how porn has wired you to be a quick ejaculator. So the way that men function during sex is usually a result of their masturbation history. The way that they masturbate ingrains certain patterns in their body and mind, and that is essentially what dictates how you were going to function sexually. It's like, did you have positive masturbation habits or did you have negative masturbation habits? And if you're anything like me, then your masturbation was done, like the vast majority was done sitting in a chair, looking at a screen, jerking off. No movement in the body, stiffness in the hips because you're just sitting there for hours staring at a screen. This programs in a lot of tension in the body. There's specific ways that you probably start to tense up in your body, and that's pushing you over the edge into ejaculation quickly. And I'll talk more about that momentarily. And this lack of movement in your hips and your lower body, it creates stiffness. And what also happens is that it tends to create a lack of the ability of the nervous system to freely communicate between the genitals and the brain, specifically the relaxation signal that signals to the brain, hey, like it's okay, let's keep having sex, we're not ready to ejaculate yet. Because when tension takes over, it strengthens the signals that tell your brain it's time to ejaculate. And what that looks like is your penis feels much more sensitive and you have a difficult time controlling ejaculation. But here's where it gets interesting. There's actually a specific muscle group that most men don't use during sex. And when you use it properly, it actually significantly improves your ejaculation control. And no, I'm not talking about kegels. I'm not talking about squeezing your pelvic floor muscles. This is something different that I haven't seen almost anyone talk about. So this is gonna seem a little weird at first, but stick with me. If you really integrate this and grasp it, it's going to dramatically transform your sexual experience, all right? So I mentioned tension in one part of the body, the wrong part of the body. First, let's talk about that, and then I'll show you like what to do instead. So let's kind of simulate sexual movement. For most men, it's kind of something like this. It's something like this, very stiff. What's happening here is, and this is an exaggeration, but there's definitely going to be a lot of truth to what I'm about to share with you, for you personally, if you're watching this video. There tends to be this line of tension from here, the diaphragm, all the way down into the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor feeling like you're trying to hold back urine. Pelvic floor tension. So this whole area becomes stiff, and it's almost like this is where you're moving from. You're moving from this muscular tension. This tension strengthens the communication system of your nervous system to tell your brain it's time to ejaculate, and it makes your penis feel more sensitive. When you engage a different area instead, a different line of tension, it's actually going to support your ability to stay aroused, but in control of ejaculation, which means more pleasure, sustained erections, and you choose when you ejaculate. The first thing, let's talk about the glutes. This is the muscle group you want to actually start moving from. And the first thing to notice is, so see, there's kind of like the stiff thrusting. Well, what if I start to move my hips more? You see how it's creating this rotation in the hips? And I'll kind of exaggerate it here, but this degree of fluidity is going to really open up your hips. And what I'm doing is I'm actually squeezing my glutes, not like 100%, but I'm gently engaging the glutes, and I think of pushing myself from my glutes. So instead of this line being active and feeling like that's what you're moving from, you actually want to feel like you're moving from here, more towards the spine and definitely the glutes, more of this posterior chain instead of the anterior chain. And what this is going to do is redirect the tension that otherwise gets into the genitals and causes you to ejaculate. It's going to redirect it so it can actually move to other areas in the body. Again, sustained arousal and pleasure without ejaculating. You engage the glutes, you feel like that drives you forward, you relax them as you come back. You squeeze, come back, squeeze, come back. And this nice fluid hip movement. So that's pretty cool, right? But there's something else you can do that doesn't just help you control ejaculation, it's actually going to help her feel more pleasure and have an orgasm. And what I'm about to share is a very common technique in Taoist sexual kung fu practices, which is, the hip spiral, baby. Oh yeah. So it's this spiraling side to side movement, moving like think of like a hula hoop or a wave. I've never been able to use hula hoops, to be honest, but this kind of seems like what people do to make them roll. Well, maybe I'll be good at it now. My hips come to the left and I move my pelvis forward. Hips come to the right. I move my pelvis back. So it's both the front, back with a side to side rotation, like lifting right hip up, pushing it down. And then I do that while simultaneously pushing the hips, rotating them forward and backward. Oh yeah, get that twisting motion. So what this is going to do is really loosen up all the tissues in this area, improving the circulation so blood flows into there better, but it's also going to help to relax and soften up your nerves, your nervous system. So once again, ejaculation control is based on the state of your nervous system. So it helps you to open up that more positive circuit of pleasure waves moving through your body, but without the tension-based signals that are telling your brain it's time to ejaculate. And this is also going to create a sort of a pumping. It'll help to pump the arousal, the sexual energy, the sensation up your spine. Like if you pay attention to your spine while you're moving like this during sex, you're gonna start to feel pleasure in your whole spine. It feels fantastic. Plus, women actually tend to move like this when they're trying to achieve an orgasm. Like, if you've ever been with a Latina girl, they can really move those hips, baby, you know what I'm saying? And so women tend to really like this type of movement because it creates this grinding against their very erogenous areas, and it can help them achieve orgasm as well. So for you, helps you sustain control and create a really nice sustained pleasure, and it helps her achieve pleasure and orgasm as well. So it's a win-win situation, my friends. And I'm gonna tell you how to train yourself to fully integrate this so that you become a masterful lover. But first, I wanna address 3 common mistakes men make when doing these types of practices that will prevent them from getting the results. So the first one is squeezing the pelvic floor, as if you're doing a Kegel exercise, like you're trying to hold back urine. It's a very common thing for men to do during sex, and you're probably not even aware that you're doing it. Well, when you start paying attention to that, you'll see like, wow, if I squeeze my pelvic floor, it pushes you towards the edge of ejaculation. So keep your pelvic floor relaxed as much as possible. So when you're doing these motions, especially this glute thrusting one, you focus on driving from the glutes, but you also must pay attention to deeply relaxing your pelvic floor. This whole line, diaphragm, abdomen, down to the pelvic floor. Keep it as relaxed as you possibly can, because if you can keep your pelvic floor completely relaxed during sex, you will not ejaculate. Simple as that. The second mistake is that you're not breathing properly. Men forget to breathe during sex, and deep, full breathing is conducive to ejaculation control and a balanced nervous system, whereas shallow, very tense, rapid breathing makes you ejaculate quicker. So full belly breathing. You can inhale in your nose, exhale out your mouth. You can also exhale out your nostrils. See what works best for you. And so you actually can coordinate that with the movement, whether that's, for example, I tend to inhale as my hips are withdrawing and exhale forward. But once things get going at a more rapid pace, then I'll simply coordinate several movements with my breathing. So remember to breathe, okay? And then the third mistake is a lack of body awareness. Men tend to get up into their heads. They're thinking, they're worrying, or they're fantasizing, and all these things disconnect you from your body and tend to create an overactive mind, which means an overactive nervous system, and ejaculation control becomes difficult. You want to really practice feeling in the body, because if you're just focused on the penis, which a lot of men are, then it creates an overexcitation in that region of the body. Where the mind goes, your energy goes, and your nervous system becomes more active as well. And this way of moving helps to increase your body awareness, but you can really take this to the next level by really focusing on the rest of your body. Like you're having sex and you're like, yeah, it obviously feels good on my penis, but how do my hips feel? How does my spine feel? How does my belly feel? Oh, if I relax a little bit more, and ooh, it feels better now. So practice bringing in the body awareness, which builds on everything we've talked about. Like if you're breathing, if you're keeping your pelvic floor relaxed, you're moving like this, it is practicing your body awareness. Being aware of those 3 things will keep you in the game. So now that you know what not to do, let me give you the exact practice routine that I recommend doing to really train this into your body and your nervous system. I recommend that you use self pleasure as a training tool. Use masturbation as a training tool. The goal is not to ejaculate. In fact, I recommend that you do not ejaculate doing this. As part of sexual kung fu is we don't ejaculate frequently. Obviously, that's your choice. So unlike how most men masturbate, the goal isn't to like get up as close to the edge as possible and like just have an ejaculation and it be over with. That is not the point. The point here is to train in body awareness and see how we can sustain sensation without going over the edge into ejaculation. And you want to keep yourself at a manageable rate of arousal. Like if you're right on the edge of ejaculating, you're going too far. Calm down and maintain a more sustainable arousal level, like 60-70%. What I recommend you do is start in a standing position. And that may sound weird because most men aren't used to masturbating standing up, which is why it's valuable, because when it comes to sexual mastery, it's all about breaking habits, breaking unconscious habits, and doing something completely different. It's like relearning how to ride a bike. So you start standing up, start pleasuring yourself, and maybe spend 2 minutes or so with the glute thrust, relaxing the pelvic floor, relaxing this whole area, breathing. So stimulating yourself, letting that glute thrust happen, and just notice if you can keep your pelvic floor relaxed. And then maybe a couple minutes making the hip spirals, pleasuring yourself. And just notice, like, what does that do? What does it do to sensation? What does it do for your arousal level, your ability to control ejaculation? And then transition to a laying down position. And same thing, try integrating those movements while you're laying down on your back. You can sit on your knees, try a variety of positions. I recommend spending about 15 to 20 minutes doing this self-pleasure practice because we want to train in endurance. If you're right on the edge of ejaculation within 1 minute, doing that over and over again, that's what your body's gonna do. But if you start teaching your body, hey, we're gonna stay a little calmer for 10 to 15 minutes, that becomes your new normal. So again, that's your practice. Don't just watch your video and then forget about it. You have to take action if you want the stuff to work. If you practice what I've taught you, over the next 30 days of consistency, your sexual performance is going to dramatically improve. And if you're committed to learning sexual mastery, you know, you're here watching this video for a reason. I'm curious who of you are like really serious, who are going to like commit yourself, dedicate yourself to the art of sexual kung fu and becoming very skilled in this, like you're gonna train regularly. If that's your intention, let me know in the comments below. It's always cool to hear from you guys. And we'll see who's the dabblers and who's the doers out there. So this is a fantastic training. You're going to get a lot from it. But if you have performance anxiety, which is extremely common, there's a more psychological side of it you need to address as well. And so what I want you to do now is watch a video I made on exactly this topic. It's going to teach you how to shift your mind state out of one of worry and contraction into one of confidence and expansion. So when you combine that with what you've learned in this video, you're gonna be a beast in the bedroom. So check that video out, put it right up here in the top. I'll also add a link to it in the description of this video. And make sure you get my free ebook to learn how you can train yourself to achieve complete ejaculation control. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Hit the like button if you got something out of this video, and hit subscribe to get access to more secrets you are not going to learn anywhere else. And have a great day, my friend.